Buonasera tutti, Talk Calcio TV on YouTube. We've had two games tonight, including the teams behind us. We're going to start with the Biancoceleste Lazio. They were hosting the Rossoblu Bologna at the Stadio Olimpico. It was a night of frustration though for Lazio and their coach Simone Inzaghi. It ended 1-1. Simone Verdi gave Bologna the lead after just 3 minutes. Lucas Leiva did equalise on 16 minutes, so they weren't behind for long. But it was a night of frustration. Lazio lose ground on the race for third place. They're 5 points behind Roma. Inter Milan, of course, are above them in fourth. They really could have done with a win to reignite their Champions League push. A frustrating night then in the capital city for Lazio. On to second place, Napoli, the Partenopei. They were hosting the other Rossoblu, that was Genoa, at the Stadio San Paolo. Now, of course, Napoli had lost to Roma 4-2. They then drew a blank last week at the San Siro against Inter Milan. They really needed something to get their Scudetto charge back on track. And tonight it did go their way, and they are back. The Scudetto race is by no means over, that's for certain. I've got to say at the start, Napoli, for all their possession, the passing, they just weren't penetrating. They made a lot of mistakes which we hadn't seen them make, of course, in the weeks when they were top of the table. A lot of misplaced passes. Their cause wasn't helped on 20 minutes when captain Marek Hamsik went off injured. He was replaced by Zielinski. Another injury for Hamsik, you know. We're not saying one player is going to decide the Scudetto race, but Napoli, we know they haven't got the bags and the strength and depth like Juventus have. They could do with everyone fit. You know, they really don't need, not just Hamsik, but any other player, key man, being injured. But Hamsik went off after 20 minutes. In the first half, you'd have to say, Genoa looked more likely to score. There were chances, of course. Napoli also had a chance from a corner. The ball came in. Nicolas Spal, he headed just wide. Napoli just looked a bag of nerves, whether the crowd weren't feeling it either. A couple of times there was efforts, of course, Insigne and Dries Mertens shot from distance, but they just couldn't penetrate. Of course, there was one where Dries Mertens fired across the goal. Callion couldn't get there, of course. You just thought it's going to be one of those frustrating nights. Just before half-time from a corner, of course, Insigne's header hit the post. It went in at half-time. Obviously, the crowd were a bit, I wouldn't say restless, but they're thinking, it's not going to be our night, and there goes the Scudetto hopes. At the start of the second half, Napoli did come out a bit out of the blocks. Dries Mertens' shot, he then hit the post. Couple of times, Napoli were getting caught on the break. Goran Pandev, ball into the box. He fluffed his lines to give Genoa the lead. Then, of course, remember Adel Taarabt from his time in England, of course, with QPR and Fulham. On the break, his shot, though, was saved by Reina. Napoli were leaving themselves exposed. And, you know, if it had been another team, they would have been punished, no doubt about it. The deadlock was broken though, much to Napoli's delight, on 71 minutes. A corner into the box, and of course Raul Albiol's glancing header into the Genoa net. Questions have got to be asked by the position of Genoa's goalkeeper Perrin on that one. He sort of looked as if he'd come for the ball and then stayed and then, you know, didn't really move for it. Glancing at Napoli wouldn't care about that. You could see the joy and emotion on the Napoli players' faces, the crowd in the Stadio San Paolo. Maurizio Sarri not moved, but then that's nothing out of the ordinary. I'm sure deep down he would have been over the moon with tonight's result. I've got to say in the build-up to that, now we're neutral in all of our shows here. We're not saying that Napoli won on a bad refereeing decision. I personally did not think that was a corner. I'll have to see the replay again. I'm sure maybe people will shout down on me here saying it was a corner. It looked like it came off Insigne last. But even still, you know, Napoli, they took their chance in the end of it. You could just see this outpour of relief. There was just so much tension in the Stadio San Paolo. There was chances, of course, Napoli then could have made it too. You know, they hit them on the break. Ball crossed to Insigne. He just has to take his time and place it in the net. He fires straight at Perrin. And you think, you know, with a few minutes to go, this could prove costly here. However, Napoli held on in the end. Genoa, like we say, we saw them when they went to Juventus earlier on in the season, or just back in February. They were very hard to beat for Juventus. They only lost 1-0 there. Genoa, against the big teams, they always seem to put up a fight. They were no pushes over tonight. I'm sure they'll go back to the north of Italy feeling gutted. They didn't take something out of the game. You can understand why. But Napoli, they get the win. They are now just 2 points behind the reigning champions, the Bianconeri Juventus. I think I said this in the last episode. As luck would have it, Napoli's fate is actually in their own hands. If Napoli win every remaining game, they win the Scudetto. That does include, of course, an away trip to Juventus at the Allianz Arena, which I'm sure will be their biggest test. But it is by no means gone. You know, Maurizio Sarri, he plays down in his interviews and everything. He tries to talk everything down, but deep down he must now believe that they can go and win the Scudetto if they can get that win at the Allianz Arena and pick up their form in the other remaining results, there's no reason why they can't win their first Scudetto since 1990. Of course, Juventus are going to prove the toughest opposition possible. So, that is tonight. So it's fair to say the Scudetto race is back on. Tell us what you thought of tonight's games, whether it be Lazio and Bologna, or even Napoli against Genoa. Like, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, Talk Calcio TV on YouTube. And don't forget to pop over to our Facebook page. We'll have our reaction on there too. And give us a like, and don't forget to follow there. Now, of course, there is now no game next week called international breaks. Like I said previously, we have a couple of features this week on the Italian national team. Bit of a history lesson, the squad selection, there's no Balotelli, don't forget. As well as a bit of a history on matches previous against Argentina and England. So don't forget to tune into that one. So don't forget to subscribe, Talk Calcio TV, and we will speak to you during the week. Arrivederci, ciao!